Hey everybody, it's Mike Sullivan with Born to Shine. Today we have a super awesome guest. His name is Adam Lane, and he is the principal over at a high school just east of Tampa, Florida. And he's been awarded this dude's a rock star, literally. Well, you see the guitars behind him, so that's cool. But he also has been awarded, I guess, multiple times for Principal of the Year, and it just happened yesterday, right?
K-12 dive, yes. Last night they notified me.
Super cool. Congratulations, Adam. That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
And you were just sharing that we've I guess you saw a couple videos and you have your guitar and you were talking about, hey, something, I saw you doing, hey, I'm gonna love myself today for the little kiddos, and you said you were doing that for your high school students too. Can you share more about that? Because that's awesome.
Well, I wanted to get checked up on you a little bit, make sure I know who's on the other end. But I love the
Right.
stuff you're doing. I watched all your videos. I'm newly into guitars. You play guitars in all your videos, so that's like a connection piece that unique people have, and we all have unique skills. But you and I connect because it's music. But
Right.
your simple videos that I see you like putting your hand on your heart and singing today I'm gonna love myself, that's the type of things I do with my high school students and even my faculty. And at the beginning they're like, this guy is absolutely crazy, but then you see them loving it, like singing I'm gonna love myself with their hand on their heart. But it's those unforgettable moments. It's our responsibility to create them. Like if some of my students, that's all they remember in 4 years is I remember singing I'm gonna love myself. You got to take what you can get.
Yeah, that's awesome, Adam. I mean, you're building their self-esteem, their self-confidence, that they feel good about themselves, and especially in a time where there's so much anxiety, there's so much depression, there's so much darkness, there's so much um, self-harm and suffering. To any way we can build kids up is just a win. So I'm totally with you, and that's awesome that you do that, man. Thanks for doing that with your
Hey, thanks
students.
for what you do too.
And this is awesome. So, well, I thought you guys had some unique things. I read in that article about you, Adam, and that you guys opened up Haines City High, I think, for a shelter, a hurricane shelter. And you guys had, I've read it here. It says you hosted 245 people, 27 dogs, 9 cats, 2 turtles, and you've been the principal for 8 years, right? At Haines.
Haines
And
City
then
High School, yeah.
and then you're the other things that these weren't in the questions, but can you share a little more about what why things are working so well at your high school and why you keep getting awarded, the principal of the year and the top dog? Like, how does that work? I read something about relationships being the key. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think it all starts with relationships, and that's been my blueprint or approach since my first day 8 years ago. Is a lot of times we end up in isolated islands and we're grasping and we're drowning and we're doing our best, and we're afraid to reach out for help because we don't know how the other person's going to react and we don't want to look weak. I mean, my big things, we can all be strong, we can all be weak, but if we're going to be strong or weak, let's do it together or complement each other. Let's
Yeah.
get better every day. And I
Yeah.
think that relationship building piece really drove into decision making, where my staff and students know all I ask of you, I've got one expectation, and that's just make the best decision possible, given what you know at that very moment, and continue to seek information to improve that process. It's kind of that growth mindset that I hear you talk about. Like, we're all at different levels of decision making and knowledge, but if we're doing the best we can at that very moment, given what we have in front of us right now, let's accept that and let's move forward every day and get better through trial and error. Because as you know, there's a lot of people that it doesn't matter how much trial and error they go through, they never progress or move forward in their decision making. But I think it's because they're not supported. And like you talk a lot about the mental aspect, you got to have that mental comfort of the people around you that they're supporting you to get better. And if you have that, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. That's so awesome. And I love how you said that, Adam, that if we're going to, succeed or something to the effect of if we're going to feel great or feel terrible or succeed or fail, let's do it together. whatever we're going through, let's do it together, because those being isolated, that's one of the symptoms actually of depression, and I know because I went through it, and I all of a sudden, instead of hanging out with everyone, I was always alone. I thought, this isn't good. So that's great that you're breaking that, setting your students free, and embracing togetherness and relationships. That's awesome. And what about this High Five Friday? I read that too. Could you share something, what that's all about?
Yeah. So my staff's an amazing staff. And, we all learn in college how to teach and strategies and Socratic seminars. We're not really exposed to building relationships a lot. Like it's all on the curriculum delivery side. So
Mm-hmm.
what I really worked on my staff with was building relationships with students, like the simple high five. That's something that needs to be taught to someone if they've never done it. Or a fist bump. Like, do I
Yeah.
punch them? Do I meet them halfway with my knuckles? Like,
Yeah.
like those are basic things we just take for granted.
Yeah.
And if you are a teacher that is a strong teacher, but you're not a good relationship builder, I found having fist bump Mondays and high five Fridays opened up so many doors of conversation and that feeling of connectness. Because
Yeah.
a lot of kids come to school and maybe that high five or maybe that fist bump is what got them to school and gets them through the day. So, we started on Mondays where it was fist bump Monday. Every teacher's at their door. You don't even need to know their name, but I want you to fist bump them and look them in the eye. And every Friday was, hey, we made it through the week. Happy High Five Friday. I'll see you on Monday for fist bump Monday. But those small connections of positivity and energy, I believe, is what builds the relationships that gets you to that decision making where we talked about being together.
That's absolute genius. You know what, Adam? That's so cool. I wish I went to your school, because that I've been blessed to talk to a lot of principals, and I've never heard that. And they're all amazing, but that is such a cool connector. Something as simple as a little fist bump. And for any teacher out there, if they're wondering how do you do it, right? You're not pounding like you're saying. It's just a little hey, or whatever. It doesn't even matter as long as you're,
Yeah.
like you said, looking them in the eye and you're connecting, right? They're like, hey, good to see you, Adam or Jill or Cindy or Bobby. Like, hey, Bobby, that's super cool. And then what is the High Five Friday? It's such a cool way to connect, and a simple thing like a high five or a fist bump. That's awesome. I know that would have made
Hey,
me
you're ever
feel.
down in Florida? Come on by.
I'll do it. I'll have to come on Mondays and
I'll let you
Fridays.
walk around and fist bump and high five everybody all day.
Dude,
And
I'm
bring your
in.
guitars.
I'm
We'll
in.
definitely play at lunches in the courtyard.
I'm in. Yeah, we'll do it together. That'd be fun. We'll have a little jam together. You got your guitars too. That'd be killer. And then what about there was something I saw too, the first 30 and last 30 minutes you were saying, if we're connecting, can you share that too? Because whatever it is, it sounds cool.
Yeah, it is a support staff. And I'm talking, I have 6 assistant principals, 5 deans, on and on and on. There's about 20 of us. But my big thing is for you to build relationships, you have to be out of your office.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Those
Yeah.
emails, those phone calls, they're never going to stop, ever.
Right,
Don't
right,
matter how many hours you stay every day, they do not stop.
right.
So, what's really big to me is being out and about the 30 minutes when kids are arriving from off
Mm-hmm.
the buses, out of their parents' car, driving, the 30 minutes when they leave the classroom to get back on the bus, to get into their parents' car, to get into their car. But not only that, the 2 30-minute lunches when they're out eating and you can really build those connections.
Oh,
And
cool.
then the 7 minutes between classes.
Ah,
So those are sacred relationship building times where you better not be caught in your office. You better
right.
be out and about. And we always say, it's number one, building relationships. It's number two, preventing nonsense, because we know close proximity and being there can prevent it. But
Right.
number three, if nonsense happens, you're a witness.
Right.
And then number four would be the legal Judge Judy factor. Maybe you didn't build a relationship. Maybe you didn't stop it. Maybe you didn't even see it. But you know what? You were there. And we're going to have conversations about being there, but preventing it for next time. So
Yeah.
the big difference to me when I travel and consult and mentor is who's in their office and who's not in their office, and at what times are they in their office, and at what times are they out of their office. Because if you just focus on that one little key thing, that's a big difference you can make in like 1 week.
Yeah, that's amazing. No, that's awesome. That is so great. And then what are some of the things that you do that you would recommend, I guess, for other principals that are watching this when you're in those 7 minutes in between class, or when you're there the first 30 when they get dropped off, either from their parents or the bus, or the last 30, or the 30-minute lunch? Like, what is that, more high fiving and fist bumping, or just kind of, or
It's strategic placement. So you
okay.
got to know your campus. You got
Okay.
to know where the crowds gather. You got to
Mm.
know where things could happen. You got to
Ah,
know the access points of where we call the rubber meets the road. Where are the moving vehicles that come into your property and leave your property? So, we're like Tom Brady studying game film. We have
mm,
drones. We fly up above our school and we truly watch patterns and where do we need to be and where's the placement. And then
mm.
sometimes we'll rotate and I'll take your spot, you'll take mine. But if you have 20 support staff, you don't want them in a circle in one area. You're
Right.
not doing any
Right.
benefit.
Yeah.
We're going to be in 20 different locations, not together, catching as many kids as we can, like a fishnet of relationship building, high fives, fist bumps. How was your day? Do you need anything? Have you seen your counselor about that? We got prom coming up. Have you got your ticket? Then grad bash is coming up. Hey, the track season start. Like, we're always pumping full of information,
Yeah.
which builds conversation
Yep.
for kids that might never approach you. But once you approach them, you can't stop them from coming to your office or finding you.
That's awesome. That's incredible. What a cool setup you have. You're a really good leader, Adam, because just I've never even heard anything like this at any school. This is pretty groundbreaking. I mean, did you learn this from another principal, or did you kind of dream this up on your own, or how did you come up with this?
Well, the good thing about being in education as an adult is you went through it. I mean, we all went through kindergarten to first grade to fourth grade. We knew what gave us anxiety. We knew
Mhm.
what made us proud. We knew what kept us from wanting to go to school and faking being sick. You
Yeah.
go through all that stuff. And I think that's why I love what I do, is because I have so many years of different teachers and different methods and different leaders. And I feel like I always kept a checkbook of, if I'm ever a principal, these are the things I'm definitely going to do. And these are the things I'm definitely not going to do,
Yeah.
because they made me feel miserable about school. They made me not want to go to school, but this person did this and I couldn't wait to get to their class. And then when you get to high school, you're like, I love going to this class, but I can't stand going to this class. What's the difference? So
Yeah.
you really got to work on that holistic campus culture climate of, when the kid wakes up, thoughts lead to emotions and emotions lead to feelings. How does a kid feel about school as soon as their alarm goes off? Do they want to skip or do they want to get there? And that's a really big difference.
Yeah. Now that's incredible. That's incredible. You're taking care of the whole child, and you're making the process from beginning of day to the end of day um, a great experience, where they see. It sounds to me like it's where they feel seen, heard, valued, and loved, and it's a safe space where it's all relationship based. So that's awesome. You know, if we ever have a thing that takes us back in time, I want to go to your school, man. I want I want to go to that high school from my
Hey,
experience.
you're awesome too, because when I watch your videos and what you do, and I know you're more, elementary based, but we got to always remember high school kids just came from that elementary base. And yeah, I get it. They're going to college in 4 years and they're going to have a job.
Mhm.
But, even as a grown man, I still have such a kid in me that needs fed, just like I was fed
Yeah.
K-5. And we
Yeah.
can't forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and thank you. I appreciate that, Adam. Yeah, and it's so interesting. We're getting kind of led into supporting more middle schools and now even high schools. So it's cool. And you're right, even as adults, we still need to be fed, that encouragement, and that safe space, and that loving each other, helping each other, supporting each other. So now that's cool. And here's the original questions. I love that we're just kind of um chatting it up. This is great. But the first one was when you were in K through 12, anywhere in that age range, was there anything that you struggled with? Like for me, it was OCD, it was anxiety, it was depression. It all happened in third grade. I was bullied, so a lot happened in third grade. And if you're comfortable, sharing with us, that would be awesome. If there's anything that you went through.
I agree with you as OCD or OCDness. Like
Yeah.
I always wanted to make the best decision.
Mm.
And as you're growing up, sometimes you get paralyzed by fear of
Mhm.
making any decision because you don't know if it's the wrong decision or the right decision. Or if I make it now, should I wait till tomorrow? Will it be, if I'm waiting till tomorrow, how about I just wait till Saturday? And then a lot of the opportunities you could have achieved right in the moment of making a decision were lost because you waited too long.
Right.
So with me, it was always that ability of perfection and decision making. And that's like I did a lot of research and readings in the growth mindset. And it really helped me to understand, you know what? I don't know if this is the best decision right now, but it's the best one I can possibly make at this very moment, knowing what I know right now. And if something changes and I learn more, I can go back and change my decision
Yeah.
because now there's something different. So that's kind of how I've approached my students and my staff because I know what I went through. I don't know
Mhm.
if they're going through that, but I feel that helps them to really shine and do a great job because no one's going to punish you or slap your wrist for a decision you made as long as you can state how and why it was the best thing you could do. I think that's really important.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so many of us, myself included, I've struggled with that too. That analysis paralysis where I just keep analyzing and analyzing and then wouldn't do anything. Um, and then also the striving for perfection. I struggled with that too when I was younger. Um, and especially even in songwriting, I would, try and write that perfect hit. And then the more I read of hit songwriters, they're saying, I don't know what a hit song is. I just write, and when it's good, I'm done. Move on to the next song. And then we keep growing. That's that growth mindset, right? The more we do it, the more we improve. So the more decisions we make, the easier it gets over time, over time. And I love what you said, Adam. It's just letting ourselves know we're making the best decision we could make at this point, and we can always go back and change it. So it's all good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really helpful. What are some things that are working well at Haines City High, supporting your students with their mental health?
Good question. And, mental health has always been such a major concern, but especially coming out of 2, 3 years of these COVID times and e-learning and blended learning. I mean, I went 2 years and there were students that I didn't see. Like I had 1,600 e-learners one year, 1,600 computers in a bedroom trying to learn with teachers. And it's like that connection to bring them back after 2 years. What we really focused on was smaller learning communities because you can
Mm,
imagine at a school of 2,800, 3,000. It's a
yeah,
big place. And if
yeah.
you've been at home for 2 years
Oof.
learning and you just came back, we really tried to identify students and make sure they were part of two of three things: one, an athletic team; two, a club; and three, an academy. So
Hmm.
we tried to focus on you are a member of two of those. It could have been the astronomy club and the volleyball team.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been our AMP Academy, which is the Academy of Media Production,
Hmm.
and you're part of National Honor Society. So there's any combination. But we really found that when we did that, and those students had that smaller, light, cool connection with a faculty member that did study halls or reviewed different policies with graduation or made sure you were supported by your counselor and knew where to go. To me, that was the biggest thing that helped us coming out of the pandemic that we were in, is latching on to smaller learner communities with just cool, like-minded, like you and I would join the guitar club
Yeah,
because
totally.
you and I might help each other with some chords, but then we might go right into algebra, and then you might convince me to go out for the swim team. And it's like, if you don't have that, where are you going to get it unless it's forced to be there?
Yeah, I love that. That's genius. That's awesome because that's also building community, building that relationship that you mentioned earlier. That's um removing the element of isolation, right? It's all that together, like you said in the beginning. Let's do it all together. So that I'm starting to see a central theme here, togetherness, you know? That's super. Yeah. And man, we got to do a guitar thing together somehow. That would be cool. And swim team, it'd be all you, Adam. You'd be crushing it. I'm super slow. So that would, but I'd be in. Yeah, it'd be cool. Um,
Hey, your background got me on the swim team, seeing that blue water behind you.
yeah. Yeah, I know. It's nice. This looks, I don't even know. It's Florida. It's kind of Florida-ish. I don't even know where it's at, Tahiti or something, but this looks like Sanibel. We went to Sanibel as kids, a family trip. I remember the sand was kind of white. Have you ever been there? Just a side note,
Been there
Sanibel?
a few times. Love it.
Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah, nice, right? I think I
Yep.
was maybe 5 years old, but anyway, I digress. So what about I think the last one is, if you have any final thoughts or any advice for other principals that are listening, or anything you want to share with them, what would that be?
I think it would be to provide platforms for students and staff and parents to be heard.
Mm,
I know, the principal, like I tell my staff, look, anything that goes wrong on this campus, anything, it's my responsibility. It's my fault. But anything goes right, it's us.
mm,
And I think to be able to say that, you need to listen to who is the us. And that is the staff, that is the students, that is the parents that trust you with their children. So we do a lot of discussions, we do a lot of forums, media center, auditorium, gymnasium. We discuss everything from what is our bell schedule going to be next year? Right now, we're on a straight 7. Do we want to go back to a block? What are the benefits of a 90-minute period over a 48-minute period that meets every day? Let's talk about the dress code. Do we want to allow Crocs and slides, or do we want to go back to like a dress shoe? Do we allow rips in the jeans? Do we not? Like when you open that up and really listen to your staff, students, and parents, and you have those forums and discussions, not only does it educate everybody at the same time, then you come down to a voting system where they know the outcome is going to be based on what does the majority of the people that are involved with this school want. It just makes it so nice and easy to support. But we need to get away from the principal coming in and dictating this is what we're going to do and this is why and we're going to start it here, and it's just a different feel. And when I think about you and the mental and emotional, like who wouldn't want to be in an environment like that, to have their voice heard compared to always being told what you're going to do Monday through Friday from 6:30 in the morning to 2:30. It's a big difference.
huge difference. Wow, that is genius. I love that. So you're getting the parents, the students, the staff, your teachers, everyone, and they have a voice and they can vote on what the dress code is. Is it Crocs? Or are they dress shoes? Is it, tears and jeans, no tears? Is it even like the schedule you said, the bell? That's incredible. So everyone has a voice, everyone has a say. That does create a really cool atmosphere of togetherness and for everyone to feel heard, right, and seen and valued. That's, yeah, man. Well, it's no wonder you keep winning principal of the year. It's amazing. I mean, any final thoughts? Did I miss anything? If I missed any questions or anything that you wanted to share?
You and I could go on for hours. So we could go on till Thanksgiving dinner probably. So we'll have to do this again. This was a great start though.
Yeah,
Let's do it again.
absolutely. Well, Adam Lane, thank you so much for sharing time with us. I know our listeners and viewers are going to love your story just like I did. And thank you so much for sharing some of your time with us.
Thank you.